Hey everyone, welcome to Screen Time Chronicles podcast, your go-to source for the latest in world events, relationships, health, and celebrity news. I'm your host, Screen Time Amon, and each week we'll bring you the stories that matter the most, diving into everything from global headlines to the latest trends shaping our lives. So whether you're tuning in for the dramas, the facts, or the laughs, let's get started. Let's get it going, baby. Let's get it going. Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, if wherever you're at, the East Coast, the West Coast, the Midwest. How's everybody doing today on this lovely Thursday? We not getting no rain, so I'm very happy right now. It's the weather's nice, but I had to come on here because these subjects this week, oh my God, these topics that's been going on, these stories that's been going on. I'm getting some good and bad comments, of what I'm posting, but that's part of what it is. Some people don't know that I now have a podcast, which is Screen Time Chronicles podcast. You can go on YouTube, you can like, subscribe, or share if you want to, but that's what I do. I'm a Screen Time Chronicles podcast host. Now now I got that off my chest. So you're here to come on, you're able to come on here and talk about anything that you want to talk about. It's freedom of speech on this podcast. As long as you're being respectful, I don't mind. You could talk about anything that you want to talk about. That's what you're here for. That Screen Time Chronicles is an open podcast to the world. Anybody can come on here to speak your piece. You don't have to agree with me. You don't even have to like my opinions. I may not like yours, but we're going to be respectful on it. We're going to share it. There's plenty of topics that we can share. There's plenty of topics because I know for a fact that you may not like what I say. You may not like it. I may not like what you say, but we here today. God is good. We here today. We here to enjoy what life has to offer. If you can make it, so be it. But we're not going to come on here chastising each other. It's not about who is bigger, who's badder, and all this. We just want to talk about the topics that America has out here in the world that's going on. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to talk about celebrities. I'm here to talk about myself. I'm here to talk about other people's life experiences, things that we can learn from, things that we can grow, things that we can share to probably uplift each other instead of turn each other down. But some of these topics, you have to talk about it because it's in the world. It's out here for the world to talk about it. That's how the life is out here. That's how the world is now today. So if you do come on here, just say hello. You don't have to stay on here forever. Just come on and say hello. Because if you're in here looking, you're looking for a reason. So there's nothing wrong with just saying hello if you want to. There's nothing wrong with being kind. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't cost you anything to come on here and say hello. I came on here early because I wanted to test the time to see the time frame and see what's going on. But I'm here. I made it early today. I'm here. Hello. I am here today. I'm feeling good because I'm more energized now. I guess this early thing keeps me energized instead of trying to stay up late past my bedtime. I don't know, but I'm here. I'm gonna share some topics. I want to see if I can get some more people in here today. Because these topics, the stories that's going on in the world, it's so much going on. And typically the main subject right now, the two main subjects I'm going to talk about, but I want to talk about this case, Cassie and of course Sean Puffy Combs, and I want to talk about the Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. Those are the two subjects that I want to talk about because those are the hottest topics right now. Outside the political stuff, I'm not getting on that today. I will talk about some political stuff later on, but today I want to talk about this because I see a lot of people are tuned in on this subject. I want to hear people's opinions. I want to see what their likes and dislikes are. And that's just simple. And like I said, you can come on here, you can speak your piece. You don't have to be scared. There's nothing on here that's going to hurt you. You could talk about anything you want to talk about because this is what this podcast is for. This is what Screen Time Chronicles podcast is for. Once again, go to the YouTube channel, Screen Time Chronicles podcast, like, subscribe, and share with your friends, family, your brother, your sister, your uncles, your neighbors. Share with everybody because we're out here. You're gonna see us more on the street soon. We're gonna be going worldwide with this thing, and we're gonna uplift this thing and get more people on here. That's how we're gonna do it, because I got plenty of topics to talk about. So I want to see what people's opinions really are with this Casey and Diddy thing, because I haven't really voiced my opinion, but I see it's crazy. Every day we're learning new things. Some people, I'm saying, they don't mind it. He's doing what he's doing or what he's done. Some people say, she should have left a long time ago. Some people saying, she didn't leave because she was in love. It's a crazy situation. So my thing is, since we're gonna talk about them, was Cassie was Casey under Diddy's superpowers? I wonder, was she under his superpowers? What type of spell? Because from what I'm understanding, allegedly he had started talking to her when she was like 18 or 19. He was in his 30s, and sometimes, and he knew what her age is. It's a difference if you didn't know. You know what I mean? It's a big difference if you didn't know, because sometimes people don't know. It's a real big difference if you don't know. And that's the crazy part. That's what, he knew what was going on. He definitely knew. So we can't say he didn't know. We can't say he wasn't aware. You can't say, oh, he just found, all of a sudden he found out months later. No, he knew. And this is a thing where, they say when you date almost younger than you, like 10, 15 years younger than you, what do you expect? That person is not going to be on your level. I can understand 3 or 4 years of difference. Yes, that could possibly be somewhere close to your range. But when you're 10 and 15 years older, what do y'all have in common? Can someone tell me what do you have in common? You're 10 or 15 years older. You really don't have much in common at that time. I really don't think so. That's just my opinion. I don't see that, you can gradually. I don't get it. I don't see how people think that you would know that. I don't get it. Please tell me if I'm wrong, because I could be wrong, but no, I don't feel I'm wrong. So that's what I'm speaking on. I don't feel I'm wrong at all about this. It's a lot of people that come on here and, not come on here, just in world, they think everything is okay. I don't feel certain things are okay. That's just my opinion. So please, if I'm wrong, let me know, because I would like to hear some of you guys' opinions on this. I'm sitting up here, I'm trying to share out. I would like to really hear, because it's a crazy world. It's a very crazy world. We don't know what's going on out here in this world. We really don't. I'm trying to find out. Let me know, because it's a topic that needs to be talked about. It's a topic that needs to be addressed. Please, come on, y'all let me know what you think, because I'm really trying to find out. He groomed and preyed on her. He used money, power, and violence to control her. Hey, from what it looks like, that is sure enough true. That is so true. That right there, I do believe he preyed on it, because it seems like that's what he did with a lot of people, allegedly. Let me be clear, allegedly, because I don't want nobody trying to come for my neck. But allegedly, he did. Allegedly, he came for, certain people, and that was the crazy part. So I don't know, like I said, I'm not familiar with the whole case. I know from what I've heard through the grapevine, and it's a very touchy subject, because a lot of people A lot of people are disappointed in this situation. And then you got a lot of people that are very happy because and I don't want to say happy, they just feel like it's okay. It's okay for them to for what he did was she should have left early. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm over here trying to add people so they can see that I'm on here. So don't give me a few minutes. I'm working on my mojo right here real quick. And that's what it is. It's people they're hoping that they could easily say, "Oh well, she should have left. She should have." How do you feel she should have left? Sometimes you get caught up in this stuff, you can't get out of it. And that's real. Sometimes I don't agree not one bit of him beating her at all. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I don't agree. Anybody can say what they want. I don't agree with it. I'm not fond of it. I'm not happy about it. That man shouldn't have put his hands on her. And I don't care if you beating on a woman, then you need to get what you deserve. And that's just how I feel. There's no way you should be beating on a woman. And that's real talk. Now, if I'm wrong, you tell me, because most women can't beat a man. Some can now. That's why I said most can't, but some can. Some can beat a man real quick. They just as a threat as the man. So don't think that a woman can't fight back. Don't think that a woman can't. She might be on self-defense and boom, you out of here. That's real talk. She might be on self-defense and she gets you out of here. Now you gone. She gonna go to jail probably, but it's self-defense. Yes, to me, he's a monster. I totally agree. Yes, he's a monster, and it's on this thing. I mean, the man done good, so I don't want to say he hasn't done good. He's done good on certain things in the world because he's done a lot of. I'm gonna give him props where props is due, but he also done bad. So that's just real. He also done bad. So I'm not gonna sit right here and act like he's an angel. I'm not gonna sit right here and act like he's the best thing in the world, because he's not. But his demons is super demons. His demons is I don't even know how to explain it. His demons is crazy demons. And that's so sad because we're listening every day. We get more and more information of how this thing went. And it's crazy because you have to look at, the main thing is, I wonder what his kids feel, the girls. That's what I wonder. I wonder, how are they looking at this? Are they looking at it like they don't care about Casey because that's their dad? Or do they feel sympathy for her, even though they're saying, oh yeah, she was down with certain stuff? Good evening, loved one. Good evening. Do they feel like she was wrong, or do they have her back? That's what I really want to know. Do they feel like she is wrong, or do they have her back, or is it just because that's her dad, that's their dad, they're okay with it? I would really like to know, man. I wish I could talk to them and ask them how do they feel. I seen Albie Shaw's son there, and I heard this difficulty things going on with that situation. That's a whole nother can of worms that I've heard it's about to go down. So I wonder how his son feels, because he's there and he's supporting Puffy. So I wonder how Albie Shaw feels about that, because I know at one time they was close, him and his son. I don't know what their bond is now, but I wonder how that feels, because apparently what Albie Shaw has just went on an interview recently, a couple of days ago, he feels allegedly that Puffy did something to him. So I'm trying to wonder, his child, his own blood child that looks a splitting image of him, is there supporting Puffy, but what's really going on with that situation? It's a lot we could talk about, man. This is just the beginning. They love their father, but they hate what they did. It's not an easy place for them to be in. I'm quite sure this is not easy. I can only imagine the heartfelt situation that they going into. I can only imagine it. I can only imagine all the stuff that they're dealing with. It's so many emotions going on. I can only imagine that. It's so many emotions. I can only imagine what's happening. I want people to really come on and talk to me about this because I'm gonna be on here on this subject. I'm going to be on. I'm going to invite some more people on here because I see they're online. I'm gonna try to get some more people on here. Um, it's a crazy situation. It really is. It's a crazy situation, and I see that it's not a joke. It's really not. It's really not a joke. That's what I don't understand. It has to be. It has to be. I don't know. It has to be. Wow. It has to be crazy. I can only imagine. Let me see. Let me go here. Let me go. Trying to see who else I got. Let me see who else is on here. It has to be crazy. It's just amazing at how people do things, and they're not really on point with it, and they don't want to speak the truth. They don't want to tell you how life is going, but they got so many different other things going on. They got other different opinions going on, but they don't want to speak the truth. This is not a joke. This is definitely not a joke. I don't care what anybody says. This is not a game. Why would you think it's a game? Why? Please explain it to me. This man has done some things that he beat this woman, and I'm not in agreement with it. I'm really not in agreement with it. I'm never going to be in agreement. It's not what you beating a woman. I'm not down for that. They can say whatever they want to. I'm not down with it. It's not nothing that I will say that is perfect. I don't care what anybody say. They should not be putting their hands on a woman. They shouldn't be. You can call it what you want to call it, but I'm speaking facts. I'm speaking facts. You could call it what you want to call it, but I'm speaking facts. Why is this man beating that girl like he Mike Tyson or something? I don't get it. People wanna analyze all this other stuff. Yes, a lot of stuff she did because she was in love with him. That's a given. We know some of the things she did at one time because she wanted to as well. I'm not gonna sit right here and say she didn't, but she wanted to at one time as well. Well, when does it stop? Please tell me when does it stop? Because I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand. When does it stop? You keep you keep taking advantage of this person. If you was the man that you are, this power that you have, why didn't you just let her go? Why didn't you just push her away? It was millions of ways you could push her away. You could have helped get her away from you. No, you loved the control that you had. It was like she was your puppet. Am I saying some of the things she did wasn't right? No, if it's consensual, then they both can do what they want to do. I have no issues with that. No issues. Whatever they did that was consensual in their bedroom, I'm okay with that. I have no issues with that. But when you talking about being forced to do something or being beaten to do something, see, people don't know. And I've never been on drugs, but I had asked this person who was on drugs back in the days, how did you how did you get into being on drugs? Because I really wanted to know what was their opinion. And the person told me that first high that they get, they're chasing that first high. So they're so addicted to that drug, they're constantly checking, trying to chase that one drug. They're constantly chasing it. So that's why it's the way it is. A lot of people don't know that. When they get on these drugs and their brain is gone, they chasing that first high. And see, they can't get it. So that's why they go back. They're looking for it again. And not understanding at that time that drug got them so far gone, they're not understanding that they'll never get that high again. Just like anything else, it's only one original. You'll never get that high again. I mean, you can't. If you could, then they wouldn't be chasing it. Am I right or am I wrong? I mean, that's just because I never been a drug addict. I'm not knocking drug addicts. I've never been into that field as far as using drugs like that. That wasn't my thing. But when he told me that and he explained it to me, I understood. Wow, it's an addiction. It's a race to get to that next high. People need to sit down and look at that. It's just another addiction. It's a race to get to that high. Now I feel real. I wonder because I can go to this subject too because I really wonder how does her husband feel about all this? A 96-hour free call. Wow. I didn't even know that. That's whoa, 96 hours. That's a hell of a they was on some powerful stuff. I didn't know that. Wow. How do they I wonder how her husband I'm quite sure they had conversations. Now, I'm quite sure they had conversations, but how far in detail do you go? Because I hear people saying, well, he didn't need to know right away, or that's something she didn't have to tell him. Yeah, in a sense, because if it was done, I know I know it's irritating or hard to deal with and speak about, but if you have problems with your insides and this affection's going on, you don't tell your loved one that. You don't let them know. I don't get it. I really don't get it. That part, I wonder. I'm not saying she didn't tell him. I just wonder how he feels because he has to sit in there too and listen to all the hard stuff that some things she was down with. Once again, some things she wasn't down with. So now I wonder, does it go in his head? Well, damn, she ain't never do me like that. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying, I wonder if he thinks like that. Well, we ain't do it this way. She doing all this to him or for him. I wonder how he looks at her now. Does this change the love that he has for her? Does this change? Does this change any? I don't know. I don't know how I could say it. Does this changes anything for him? How does he still love her? Which I'm sure he do, because love don't go away right away. So let me be clear on that. Love don't just vanish that fast like that. It doesn't. But I really wonder what this young gentleman feels as he's listening to the trial, as he's listening to the DA and all them trying to say, well, she did this, or they ask questions and some things that she may not have spoken to him about. I wonder how he feels. Let me see what this says. She wanted to what? She wanted to impress, please make it big. Let's be clear. You really think that her, oh, Aunt's beautiful, slender, petite little thing, wanted to revenge? No, sir. She wanted to be the pick me by Puffy because, believe it or not, most beautiful women are exploited, mistreated, dogged out the most. Folks assume they are protected and spoiled, so they are the most endangered. As me, ask me how I know. I was a badass in my time. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not saying, yeah. I've seen it coming up myself when I was younger, how the women my age, the young teenagers my age, they used to go to the drug dealers that was older than us. They had the money, they had the cars while we was in school. The girls wanted the older guys. They didn't want to mess with us because we wasn't hustling in the seventh, eighth grade, maybe. We wasn't, and if anybody tried to, they wasn't making as much money as the big boys was. So if you ain't had a fancy cars, you couldn't drive them to the movies and all that. Them girls wanted those guys. We seen them my whole life. So I definitely understand that. And that's very true. I definitely understand that. That is serious. I definitely understand that. That's how it was. Does it make him feel inaccurate knowing that she allowed and disagreed with certain things that went on? Hmm. Well, that's a good question. He might have felt, of course you could tell by what they saying. He got real crazy. He, urinated on the floor. He used the bathroom, didn't flush it in her room. He did a lot of crazy stuff when he couldn't have it his way. It was like he was having a temper tantrum. So, he's a I don't get it, so that's another crazy thing. These are very serious, alleged things, but they're saying this is what went on. They reading the text from both phones. Well, from her phone. I'm quite sure they have his phone too. They're reading all the text. It's very crazy. Now, I wonder how people are really feeling knowing that at one point she didn't want to do it. And then at certain times she did. What was her position? Was she always high when she wanted to? She even said herself allegedly that she did things to try to keep him pleased. And most young girls do that. Most young girls will do that and try to keep up with the man or do what they want because they think, and I'm not even gonna say young, a lot of women, just period. They try to keep up with their man because this is their first love. This is so they do anything possible to keep that man happy. We see it all the time. Is it right? Not all the time. The husband has to be strong, a strong man to be with her. You know that he loves her. I agree. He has to be very strong. I totally agree. He has to be a very strong man to deal with this situation. It's not an easy thing. I mean, I tip my hat off to him because I'm quite sure it's stressful. I know when they go back to the hotel room while they staying there for the trial. I don't know if this was her last day to be there because they trying to get her in and out since I think she's 5 or 6 months pregnant. If I'm not sure how many months, but I think it's 5 or 6. They wanted to get her in first and get her out of there. And that was another thing. Hopefully, her husband was made aware of most of this. I'm not sure if it still hurts. She has unhealthy. She was unhealthy then. I'm sure she has major regrets, but sometimes we live reckless, but we can change and we heal. That is true. I'm sure. Like I said, I don't know if you heard me before on this earlier. I was saying I'm quite sure they had a discussion because she had to prep him too to some degree. I don't know how far um she, addressed everything with him. I don't know how far she went, but she had to let him know something was coming. I'm quite sure of that. So it's just hearing the extra that I'm worried about. How can he hold up? I give him, he's coming to court with her every day. He hasn't walked out. But then reality is going to kick in when they leave and go back to the hotel. When they go back home and they're not here anymore, they're over at wherever they live at now. I know all that's going to kick in because daily now this is worldwide. So even if they only watch TV, it's going to constantly be stuck in his head all the things he had to hear. And that's not easy. And I commend them. Once again, I commend them for standing by our side, for not rolling out. Because they said once you get married, it's through the bad, the good, the ugly, I guess, as long as it ain't violent. Let me be clear on that. But I wonder how he's going to maintain this that's going on, because that could be a lot of pressure. Also, with her, with Cassie, she has to go through all the stuff, hearing it all over again. I wonder what Puffy's thinking, because I'm quite sure he never thought this day was coming. I wonder what he's thinking, how he interacts with this, because I'm quite sure he never seen this coming. Never seen this coming. I'm very sure this man was sitting there like, wow. They Gary smoke my boots if any little thing they can get away with to keep him locked up for some years. He's already 50 something. So if he get 10 years, that's still a big situation. Because then I know they're gonna try to add on other things to keep that man locked up. But him putting his hands on her, that's what bothers me about this situation. I can't, like I said, I wasn't in their bedroom, so I really don't care about that part. The part I'm caring about is how he kept beating her. That's what I dislike about the whole thing. But like I said, my podcast is open for everyone to talk their opinions. My podcast is here for everyone to share their thoughts, and I'm not here to block anybody's opinions. I'm not here to say you wrong for your opinions. I'm just here to listen. This is an open door. So if you can go to Screentime Chronicles podcast on YouTube, like and share, and send it out to your family, your friends, your coworkers, send it out to other people so we can always have a great conversation. Send it out so we can always have a great conversation. I'm sure that they have been going through this for a while. It is hard. It has to be hard for their families too. I agree with you on that. I think it has to be very hard. That's what I was just talking about. I know it got to be a stressful thing, because you can't just go home and act like this is not going on. I was speaking from passion. I'm just saying, I have been in the company of celebrities, one in particular that I won't name. He was so deep into his ego that I chose not to go back to that hotel. I got lifted off by my feet and by my neck. Woo. And told, do you know who the F I am? You can't tell me no. Thank God he had a security guard with him that convinced him to let me go. Blessings to you, Queen. I'm glad it didn't turn the other way. I've known you for years. I'm so glad that I never knew this. This is the first time I think you spoke about this. I'm glad whatever it was, it didn't happen to you. Wow, I never knew that. So I'm glad we'll get you on here one day so we could talk about that. You don't have to mention his name. I might know who it is, but you don't have to mention his name. But I would love to have you come on as a guest and talk about these things. I'm going to have guests starting to come on here and talk about the experiences with things that they've been through. The things, because, we need to hear this. There are consequences for your behavior. That's true. I agree with that. I agree with that. Yes. Oh my God, that was scary. I didn't know that. Yes, I've known her for years. I never knew that this happened to her. I am so glad that she made it through. I'm definitely gonna try to get you, Queen. I'm gonna try to get you on here as a guest, because I would love to hear that story. And you could talk about it and share it with other people, because that's what we're doing. I'm trying to uplift our women, our young fellas, I'm trying to get different subjects on here, but that right there, I would love to have you on here so you could talk about it, because that is deep. I don't think anybody should go through that, being forced to do anything crazy. We're seeing every day women are getting killed now. These young guys are killing, these older guys are killing for somebody saying no. I don't condone that. I'm not happy about that. I feel sorry, and blessings to all the women that go through this, that has been harmed in a way that they shouldn't have been harmed. Man, blessings to you. And I want to say to these, I'm not even gonna say you men, I'm gonna talk to these cowards, because that's what you are. To all you cowards that's out here putting your hands on these women, and you're not brave enough to put your hands on these men that have come to you and just smack your head off. I don't condone violence, but you need a foot put up your butt for all the wrong that you've been doing to these women, because this ain't the first time. This is not the first time that these cowards has done this. So it's just when they get caught, then we know about it. But to all you cowards, that's what you are. And I'm going to say that to all you cowards. Not to speak entirely of what you're saying, V Queen, but some women level of kink is of this nature, when aggression and the physical takes, that some men take that to the next power, where it becomes abuse and not kinky anymore. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying, because I know this computer probably changed the word. Are you saying that when they start having sex, it becomes aggressive? Is that what you're saying? I think that's what you're saying. That's just what I might be misreading it, but yeah, sometimes the level of having sex at that time, they do get spontaneous, but that's not spontaneous if you got to turn it to violence. That's not spontaneous or kinky if you have to really hurt somebody and force them to do the things that you don't want them to do. That's not cool. I'm not down with that. I will never support anybody doing physical harm to a person like that, because it's easy to have sex with anybody out here. You don't have to hurt anybody, but I heard that they want to have the power. We saying it with Diddy. You want to be controlled. That's their power. I don't get it. I never understood that, because you could walk down the street. It's anybody you can have sex with. Haley and DDG is another situation. Yes, I'll bring that up tomorrow. That's a good subject that I'll bring up tomorrow. I agree, some things are allowed, then taken too far, but P Blood, Nas, it's crazy. They should, that stuff, when I heard that he did that on the floor, oh my man, that's crazy. But he has a sick mind. That's what he has. He has a very sick mind, and we saying it. I don't care what nobody say. All the stuff he do on the outside with friends and kids, and support the community. Hey, I applaud him. I give him kudos for that. But now we talking about his dark side. That's what he's on trial for, and that's what the bad part is. Yes, but then it gets out of control and becomes a power trip. That is so true. That is so true. That becomes a power trip, and that's where it gets crazy. Oh no, I think that was him that went and did that in the Oh, I see what you're saying. I read it wrong. I see what you're saying about the comment. I read it wrong. Yes, she did some things too. That's why I said at the beginning. She done a lot of things too now, but she didn't do a lot of things to him forcefully. See, it's a big difference. What she did, they both agreed to. They both agreed. And I'm not saying some of the things she did was right, because they said she was fighting him at 1.2 on certain things. But I also agree. I also think that it was more of the power trip. Once he finally realized he had control over her, he started doing anything he wanted to do. He started treating her worse than what she ever thought she would go through. He already had her mind. Like they say, once you get the mind, then you got the body. That's the easy part. Once you control somebody's mind, you can have them do whatever. And that's man or woman. And I'm not just saying man, that's a woman too. If a woman has a man mind, she can control him. She can make him go cuckoo for Cocoa Puff. After the fact, I watched the trial, and the stuff being released is way different than the lies on Facebook. This is diabolical. Yes, it is true. It's a lot of stuff that see the news only reports what they want the public to hear. As you know, we come from the background. We can get in the mud. We can find out things that they don't want the public to find out. That's why I'm on here too. That's why I started this podcast, because I want to go in details and get deep into subjects and not just stuff like this. We could talk about going on a ferry ride or whatever it is, but I want to get deep because the regular news won't let you hear everything that we find out that we can know in seconds. So I'm going to share a lot of stuff that's very important. So the people who don't come online or whatever, or don't watch the news, I will be the ear for you. That's what I'm here for. And once again, go to SCREENTIME Chronicles podcast, like, subscribe, and share on YouTube. SCREENTIME Chronicles podcast. Go and share that to everybody. Share it on your page, on your Facebook page, on your Instagram, on your TikTok, on your what's that, X, Twitter X, or whatever platform you have. Go share it, because this is a good podcast and it's going to get bigger. I appreciate everybody that's tuning in. I just wanted to reach out for this, and let me go to this one subject before I go, because this is real quick. I want to talk about this as well. Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. This young man just got stabbed 14 times. Now they're saying allegedly they have evidence showing that he never was the one that shot her. If this is the case, what do they do to her? What do they do to whoever shot Megan? If that's the case, what goes on? You guys, please let me know, because it's a lot that could be done. This is another crazy story. That is another crazy story. Yes, SCREENTIME Chronicles is a blissful place. I love it. Thank you. I appreciate it, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I give you a round of applause for that. Yes, Casey was used by sex workers for hours. The same day that the hallway video was recorded, the room was filled. Okay. Yes, that was told today. Yes, I've been watching. I'm watching it every day as well. And yes, please send it to me. The more you find out, shoot it to me. I'll talk about it, and I'm paying attention to it. I'm heavy on it every morning, all day. I'm on that case and on the Tory Lanez case also. So yes, it's just crazy that it's crazy. This right here, I feel for the young gentleman if that's the case. I'm gonna say this: Tory Lanez, if he's innocent, let the man come home. If he's innocent, let him come home, man. That don't nobody deserve that. If Megan lied, yes, that's true. We all can agree to that. Let me give you applause for that. If Megan lied, her career is over. If you seen when I posted, she will no longer be Megan Thee Stallion. She will be Megan the Pony. She will turn into a pony. It's like Cinderella lost her slipper. She would go back to being what she was. And I hate to say it like that, but that's how I feel if she's wrong. Because that man didn't deserve to get that way. He wouldn't have been shanked up 14 times had they told the truth. If this is the case, let me be clear. If this is the case, Tory Lanez need to come home, because he don't need to be in it. I will applaud anybody who is not guilty. You need to come home. Some of you fools that are guilty, you need to be where you at. But if Tory Lanez is not guilty, let that young gentleman come home. And I'm a root for him. If he's not guilty, let him come home. They need to correct Megan. They need to correct her best friend, and also whoever the bodyguard and the driver was. If they ain't tell the truth, let them be known. What's going on, Gar? I hear you. Applaud to you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Yes. And it came down if he shot her or if the friend shot her, I'll look at it like this, right? He allowed himself to be put in that situation when he accepted the fact that he wasn't a snitch. And if that's not about snitching, it's not about the truth. I said that earlier myself today. I was talking to somebody about that. I said that he didn't go tell. So it's a catch-22 because you know how they say the snitching rule and all this. He didn't tell. That's what got him in the situation. But he took the fall. I'm gonna say that if he's guilty, if he's not guilty, he took the fall. But he didn't say what went on. He just said the whole time he wasn't the one that shot her. So he kind of put himself in that catch-22. You know, it's the older I get, I'm starting to feel like this snitching crap. If you're not in the streets, to me, that's not snitching. I don't care what they say. Because see, we keep getting stuck with this, you snitching. But if you ain't in them streets, well, let's look at this. Okay, let me put it like this, because I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna talk to some of y'all because I know a lot of street people. So I'm gonna keep it 100. You should know the streets are gonna be there whether you're dead or whether you're locked up. The streets do not owe you anything. So once you get to learning that, I don't care what hood you in, what hood you from. When you get to a certain point in life, how many of those people in that hood is gonna have your back? How many people in that hood is gonna have your back? Let's keep it 100. It could be 1,000 of y'all. How many of those people gonna have your back? I really want to, as I get older, how many people gonna have your back? How many of those people can you call? We see this every day. It's tons of people from the hood that's locked up right now, that's been locked up for 10, 20 years. And they don't hear from nobody. Once their parents are gone or whoever their grandmother was, big mama was taking care of them, they don't hear from the homies no more. But we keep wanting to die for these streets that we don't own. We want to keep hurting each other for some silliness that we shouldn't be doing it to. And I was a part of that when I was younger. I was down for the get down. Was it right? No. I'm going to speak on me. I was down for the get down. Was it right? Hell no, it wasn't right. But I was young. I was naive. I wasn't thinking right. All I'm doing is hurting the next brother. All I'm doing is putting myself in a situation that once I get locked up, I can't get out of. So if somebody feels some way because of what I'm speaking, now if we sit right here and look at it, we all from different sides, okay? Let's say this. If everybody had your back, whatever you doing to do right, how many of them support you? I mean, please let me know. I'm listening. I don't think it's many. So please let me know that. How many of them got your back when you creating something to get ahead to move in the right direction? How many homies gonna ride with you to say, man, let me get him off. He's the creative one. Let me get him up off of here so once he come up, we all can come up. Please let me know. Because see, I don't got no problem speaking. You know, I'm gonna speak the truth because I stand on who I am. I was one of them fools that was out there ready to get down at one time. Now, if you ain't messing with me, I ain't messing with you. I don't care what nobody doing. You ain't messing with me, I ain't messing with you. I had to learn a lesson. But we continue to see these young fools get these $1 million checks, and where they at? They dead 2 weeks later or 2 months later. They don't even get to celebrate it and share with their family. That's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother topic right there. That's a whole nother topic right there. We could talk about it, but that's a whole nother topic. Once again, go to Screentime Chronicles podcast, like, subscribe, and share. Share it with everybody. Share it with whoever you want to, man. We can make this podcast go up. And if you want to send in a donation, you can go to Cash App, $Screentime Chronicles. That's Cash App, $Screentime Chronicles. You can send in donations so we can get this podcast going to a whole nother level. That's only if you want to. If you don't want to, it don't cost you nothing to like, subscribe, and share so other people can hear about this. and that's real. And that's true. Thank God for loyal people. Thank God. And that's how I see it. I want you guys to, man, it's been a blessing to have so many people tune in. I really appreciate you guys, man. You have no idea how I feel, man, just being able to have real grown-up conversations. You know, this is real. Have real grown-up conversations, nobody complaining. Everybody has their own views. Everybody can share what they want to share. They can speak how they want to share. How they think. You know, I have no problem with that. Everybody's being real respectful. So on that note, man, I gotta get ready to shut this thing down, man. I appreciate everybody coming on. You know, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Screentime Chronicles podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's journey through the latest in world events, relationships, health, and celebrity news. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share with your friends because the conversation doesn't just stop here. Stay connected and tune in with us next time. More insights, laugh, and the latest headlines you need to know. Until then, take care and keep the screen time filled with your stories that matter. We appreciate everyone going on that came in here and showed love today. Thank you, everybody. I'm out of here. Good night.